It's always good to visit with Teresa Tomeo because she's like surrounded by saints in Italy and elsewhere. And I know today, Teresa, you want to talk about another great saint, Saint Clare of Montefalco. Morning, Teresa.
And good morning, guys and gals. It ties in directly, really, with St. Helena because of her, as Pat said, gave us a true cross. Well, interesting story about St. Clare of Montefalco, or St. Clare of the Cross. Jesus told her he was looking for someone. She became an Augustinian. She started out as a third order Franciscan, but eventually became an Augustinian, became a superior of a convent in Montefalco, which, by the way, is in Umbria, central Italy, about 20 miles south of Assisi, if people want to think about going there, which is a beautiful city. I'll talk about that in a minute. But her story is so beautiful. And in prayer and ecstasy, she had a vision that Jesus said to her, he was looking for someone for a long time to find a firm and solid place on which to plant my cross. And I have not found one more suitable than your heart. You must receive it and allow it to take root. She said, if you seek the cross of Christ, take my heart, there you will find the suffering Lord. Now, listen to this. After her heart was opened after her death, the cross and other instruments of the passion were found within, formed solidly in fibrous tissue. As an example, the crucifix was found to be about the size of a person's thumb. The corpus is white and clearly formed as if sculpted, and part of her is incorrupt, by the way. But it is so amazing because when you go to this church, which is in the Montefalco area, it's right outside the city gates. Montefalco is a beautiful, tiny little town, very picturesque and very popular with locals there because of wine. It's famous for its red wine. But you go up this one hill and there's beautiful shops and restaurants, and it's just so quaint, and the flags of Umbria. But the convent and the church where she is entombed is just below that. But anyway, the relics are there, and you can actually see the shape of the cross in the relic of her heart. It is really beautiful and very powerful. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that because her feast day was Sunday. And then, of course, we have St. Helena today, who gave us the true cross. And St. Clare of Montefalco received the cross, the spiritual cross from the Lord, and he marked the cross, the sign of her heart, in her actual heart muscle. So talk about a beautiful miracle.
Wow, that is amazing. And I've never heard of her. So that means,
Yeah, yeah.
geez, yeah. Now, is she well known in Italy? Just because we don't know her doesn't mean she's not well known.
She is well known in Italy. There are some large parishes in the United States. For example, Pat, we have one in the Archdiocese of Detroit, St. Clare of Montefalco in Grosse Pointe, a
Oh,
beautiful church with a parish. So some areas are familiar with her, but you're right. She's
okay.
certainly not as
Yeah.
well known as St. Clare of Assisi, who kind of
Yes.
overshadows her, obviously, because of St. Clare's connection to St. Francis of Assisi and so much more. But she's a beautiful saint for the dedication to the cross of our Lord, and someone who knew from an early time in her life that she was going to dedicate her whole being to Christ. And the fact that she took upon herself saying, I want to have your sufferings. I want to know what it feels like to carry the cross. And he said, well, you can have the cross, my cross, in your heart. And she was known to have heart pains and struggle
Really?
after that vision physically.
Wow.
So it's a beautiful, true story. And you can go to the church and you can see her tomb. You can see the relics and the cross in the actual relic of the heart in the muscle tissue. And I would also recommend visiting that area of Umbria, because again, you can go to Assisi, then you can go south. It's not that far. I said about 20 miles south. You can go
Okay.
to Montefalco, visit her tomb, have a beautiful pranzo in the town of Montefalco, and then hit one of the local wineries and get yourself some good Sagrantino red, which is what they're known for.
Yeah, yeah,
So why
definitely.
not? I
That's
love
right.
Montefalco. It's such a great
When in
place.
Rome, right?
That's right.
Right,
I love
exactly.
And when you go on a pilgrimage to Italy, I think there's so much to see, as you mentioned before. You almost need to take like a follow-up one, so you go and then
Yeah.
do another one a year later or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's really overwhelming, and even I say this in both my books. The second one, Saint Francis, if we talked about a lot, that came out in June, and of course the first volume one of Italy Shrines and Wonders. Deacon Domini, as you know, I've lived there part time for 4 years now. We take pilgrimages every year. We've been going to Italy since 2001, so 25 full years of travel back and forth, and there are still so many places that we have not seen, and so many saints that we have not discovered yet. It's just an endless wealth of treasure when it comes to not only beauty and art, but the Catholic faith, especially the saints. There's so many well-known saints, and maybe some not so well-known saints, like we have St. Clare of Montefalco, but a beautiful
Yeah.
saint to get to know. So again, if you're going to be visiting Assisi, there's a lot of people going this fall for the 800th anniversary. Certainly, if you can rent a car, if not, you can take the train. and hop over to Montefalco, go down to Spoleto, where St. Francis had his conversion, but it's a great area to visit.
So, Teresa, I got to ask you a little off topic here, but we talked about San Marino yesterday. Are you
Uh-huh.
familiar with that at all, San Marino, because the Pope's going there on Sunday or Saturday?
Yes, San Marino is. I have not been across the little border, but it's a separate country within Italy. So you don't call them Italian, you call them San Marinese. And there's a beautiful hall that is in southeastern Michigan and Metro Detroit, the San Marino Club, and they have wonderful events. They have wonderful food. We've done a lot of events there, including
Huh.
World Marriage Day. But
Wow.
it's a separate country, and you actually have to have your passport when you cross. So if you're
Wow.
if you're in the region of La Marche, which is next to Umbria,
Okay.
and part of La Marche goes along the Adriatic, which is lovely. You can just go up from there, and you'll find the little town of Montefalco. And I have not been there. My friend has been there. She said it's gorgeous, but again, it's right in the middle of northeastern Italy, a separate country where you have to bring your passport. You can't cross the border without your passport because it's totally separate, just like Vatican City, although you don't have to bring your passport when you go into Vatican City, but that's actually a separate city state. So it's a neat little fact. But yeah, San Marino is very special, and there's a lot to see there. A lot of beautiful churches and art, and the view apparently from San Marino, because it sits again high on a hill and it's a walled city. You can walk around the wall, which is supposed to be
Uh,
really wonderful.
Hmm.
The
huh.
views from there of the ocean and then of parts of Emilia Romagna to the north and La Marche to the south are supposed to be breathtaking.
Hmm.
Wow. I mean, this just spills out of you, Teresa. It's like,
Uh,
I, I can't believe you're not an Italian native. You know so much. It's amazing. Oh,
Pat, thank you for saying that because it's truly a love of mine, and I'm lucky because I can remember things, and when I read, I do absorb a lot. But when you love something as much, because to me, Italy just oozes God everywhere. It oozes Jesus, the saints, the church, the beauty itself, and Bishop Barron has given us so much beauty. It's so much about the true, the beautiful, and the good. I've just made it a passion of mine to share that beauty with people, and I think it does spill out of me because it's who I am. I'm 100% Italian, my heritage, and I so appreciate what the people who came from and many immigrants who came to the United States, what they went through, what they left behind, whether it's a beautiful country of Italy or even the beautiful country of Poland or other places that I've been. But Italy captured my heart the first time I set foot on it, and I just started reading about it. Our first trip there, and it is truly just in me where I can, just soak it up, read something, and then just spill it out to people. But that's a big compliment. Thank you so much for
oh,
saying that. I really appreciate it.
And you're sharing it so well
yeah.
with Italy Shrines and Wonders, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and I'm sure there's going to be another volume, right?
We're hopefully going to be doing volume 3 on Tuscany. We're giving our publishing company, EWTN News, a little bit of a break because these are really complicated books because of the layout, because we do it color coded, because of all the pictures and all the documentation that has to be done. So it's quite a production. Usually when you publish a book, and I think the St. Francis book is my 16th book, I think, most of it, you may have a sketch or two or a quote or a pretty border in a chapter. But to do a book like this, to produce the paper, it's very complicated. So we're going to give them a break, and hopefully we'll be able to do next volume coming out in 2028
Yeah,
for Tuscany.
they're both beautiful books. Can't wait for the third one, obviously, and we look forward to that. Now, if people want to come and visit Italy, I would imagine this is not a good time of year to do it.
No, August is one of the worst times because, first of all, Ferragosto is still going on. The Assumption is a huge, not only Catholic holiday, right, holy day, but the party stretches throughout the month of August. Things are shut down. It's packed at the beaches. This is when the Italians and the Europeans travel, and many of them travel to Italy, and it's just way too hot. So go to Italy in September and October.